Now, there's no way to definitively know what a historically accurate medieval ale would have tasted like, as brewing was considered such a common task it was hardly worthy of notation in the written record. What we do know is that we would have seen a high variance from house to house, tavern to tavern, and region to region. Beer would have been made by either boiling the malted barley in a kettle over the fire, or in a technique that I just think is so hobbity, putting the malted grains and water into an open cask, then heating rocks in a hot fire until they're hot enough to start the liquid boiling, and then throwing them in. After that sweet barley tea, what brewers call wort, spelled like wart, but pronounced like yurt, because as the professor dedicated his life to proving, the English language hates us. Wort was successfully made in either kettle or cask. Grut, that disgusting blend of herbs used to add flavor and act as a preservative, would have been added and infused. From there, that wort would be poured into another container and either inoculated with house yeasts or allowed to spontaneously ferment with wild yeasts present in the local environment. However, even if they were using house yeasts preserved from previous fermentations, because of the lack of a controlled, sterile setting, the beer would come into contact with wild yeasts no matter what. Them hobbits was, filthy. The chief among these, Brettanomyces, would impart flavors ranging from clove to barnyard, depending on how long the hobbits decided to let the beer ferment and condition. If the beer was allowed to condition, that is, set aside in a separate container, in this case most likely an oak cask, and allowed to continue slowly moving through the stages of fermentation, differing yeast strains would contribute until all the sugar in the wort is converted to alcohol. Remember, that's what yeast does, after all. It converts sugar to alcohol and other compounds that add flavor to the beer.